The crystalline walls of the Nexus arena trembled with the roar of 10,000 alien voices, each species contributing their own distinctive sound to the cacophony. In the VIP section, High Chancellor Vexithera of the Galactic Dominion leaned forward, her 6 eyes focusing on the small figure standing alone in the center of the combat pit. Captain Marcus Chen stood barely 6 feet tall, his standard-issue human jumpsuit looking pathetically inadequate against the gleaming armor and exotic weaponry that had been displayed by previous champions. The betting pools had closed hours ago. Nobody was foolish enough to wager on the human's survival, let alone victory. "Behold," announced the arena's AI in its melodious, multi-tonal voice that reached every corner of the massive structure. "The final challenger in today's conquest. Trials. Species human. Homeworld Sol 3 designation Earth. Combat rating unclassified." A wave of laughter rippled through the crowd. The Zephyrians clicked their mandibles in amusement, while the massive Goliath warriors from Titan Prime rumbled, with what passed for chuckling among their kind. Even the usually stoic ethereal seemed to shimmer with what might have been mirth. Marcus had volunteered for this moment 3 months ago, when the Galactic Dominion had arrived at Earth with their ultimatum: surrender and become a tributary species, or face complete annihilation. The Dominion's laws were clear. Any species could challenge for their world's freedom through the ancient rite of the conquest trials. One champion, one chance, winner takes all. Earth's governments had nearly rejected the option outright. Who could possibly stand against the champions of 1,000 worlds? But Marcus had stepped forward, a career military officer with an unusual hobby. He was a historian, specializing in something the aliens couldn't possibly understand: human warfare. The arena floor shimmered, and Marcus's opponent materialized in a cascade of light. Kraxon the Destroyer stood 12 feet tall, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming with integrated weapons systems. Bioplasma cannons emerged from his shoulder mounts while razor-sharp appendages unfolded from his torso. He was the reigning champion of 17 worlds and had never faced a challenger who survived longer than 30 seconds. "Champion Kraxon," the AI announced, "has chosen plasma artillery and biomechanical enhancement. Champion Chen, please select your weapon configuration." Marcus looked up at the weapon dispensary, a technological marvel that could manifest any armament from the databases of 1,000,000 civilizations. Energy weapons that could vaporize mountains, blades that could slice through starship hulls, armor that could withstand supernova radiation. "I'll take a stick," Marcus said calmly. The arena fell silent. Even the AI seemed to pause, processing the request. "Clarification required. Species: Homo sapiens. Weapon selection appears to be a wooden stick?" "That's correct. About 3 feet long, thumb thick, good solid hardwood." The crowd erupted in confusion and mockery. High Chancellor Vexithara's translator was working overtime, but she was certain she'd heard correctly. In the betting lounges, several bookmakers actually stopped taking wagers, convinced this was some sort of elaborate joke. A simple, wooden stick materialized in Marcus's hand. He hefted it once, testing its weight and balance, then nodded approvingly. Kraxon's bioplasma cannons hummed to life, targeting systems painting Marcus with crimson death markers. "Your death will be swift. Soft flesh, I grant you that mercy." "I appreciate the consideration," Marcus replied, and began walking toward the towering alien champion. The first plasma bolt should have vaporized him instantly. Instead, Marcus twisted aside at the last possible second, the superheated energy scorching the air where he'd been standing. He continued his advance, the wooden stick held loosely at his side. Kraxon fired again, and again Marcus dodged, not with superhuman speed or alien technology, but with something far more dangerous: experience. Every movement was calculated, every step part of a larger pattern that the alien champion couldn't comprehend. The crowd's laughter died as they realized what they were witnessing. This human wasn't just surviving. He was studying his opponent, learning the rhythm of the weapons, the telltale signs that preceded each attack. "Impossible," whispered Chancellor Vexithara. He moves like he knows what Kraxon will do before Kraxon knows it himself. Marcus closed the distance with methodical precision. When Kraxon's razor appendages lashed out, Marcus was already moving, using the stick to deflect, redirect, and control the alien's attacks. Every violent thrust became leverage. Every attempt to grab him turned into an opportunity to unbalance his massive opponent. "You study war," Kraxon snarled, finally understanding, "but you have no weapons." "I have the greatest weapon," Marcus replied, driving the wooden stick into a joint in Kraxon's exoskeleton. The alien howled as hydraulic fluid spurted from the breach. "I have pattern recognition refined by 10,000 years of humans killing each other." The fight that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for generations. Marcus used every lesson learned from humanity's bloody history: the tactical flexibility that had let Stone Age hunters kill mammoths, the strategic thinking that had decided the fate of empires, the psychological warfare that had broken enemy morale since the first human had learned to intimidate a rival. When Kraxon finally fell, his biosystems shut down by precisely targeted strikes that Marcus had identified through pure observation and analysis, the arena was completely silent. Marcus stood over his fallen opponent, not even breathing hard. He looked up at the VIP section where the Galactic Council sat in stunned silence. "According to your own laws," he called out, his voice carrying clearly in the acoustic-perfect arena, "Earth is now free, and I have the right to claim Kraxon's territories as spoils of war." Chancellor Vexithara's voice was barely a whisper, as she activated the planetary communication system. 17 worlds, she announced to the galaxy. He just won 17 worlds, with a stick. Marcus picked up the simple wooden implement and examined it carefully. One end was slightly splintered from the impacts. "Not bad for a Tuesday," he muttered, then looked up at the assembled representatives of galactic civilization. "Now, shall we discuss trade agreements? I think Earth has a lot to offer the galaxy, starting with some lessons in creative problem-solving." As he walked toward the arena exit, the betting lounges erupted in chaos. The longest odds in galactic history had just paid off, and somewhere in the Sol system, a small blue planet had just announced its arrival on the cosmic stage in the most human way possible, by doing the impossible with whatever was handy.